What is going on, guys? Welcome to my guide on how to actually climb in Overwatch Season 19. Now, before we actually get into the video, I want to make some things clear. I've seen dozens of guides where they always talk about what heroes you should pick or like how to correctly follow the meta in order to succeed. Now, while those tips might be a good help as well, I do think the most important part is always missing, which is your mindset that you should have while playing competitive Overwatch, or actually pretty much any game really. If I was to make this guide really short, I'd basically just tell you to pick Mei and get to rank 1 by smashing your head on the keyboard, but that's not my goal here. But why should you even trust me with what I'm about to tell you? After all, I'm just some washed up Hanzo player that tilts after losing 2 matches in a row. Yet I have been able to keep a constant Grandmaster rank throughout almost all the seasons, which means I should have a generally good understanding of the competitive leaderboard and how to climb in the game. You might agree with some, you might disagree with some stuff. I will just give you my go on how to climb efficiently in the game. If you've been watching my streams in the past, you might already know that I'm also not perfect when it comes to having a good mindset, but that's why making this video should not just be interesting for you, but also for me, since I will be learning with you guys. So let's get right into it. Number 1. Focus on your own performance. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Lucas, this is a team-based shooter, how am I supposed to only ever look at my own gameplay? And I get you, don't worry. But I have to tell you that it simply doesn't freaking matter what your team is doing. Now yes, I know that a lot of the times you will get into a game where your teammates are just a fucking hopeless case and you will lose the game because of it. But now tell me, what's the point of getting triggered over them? Why does it matter to you what they are doing? If one of your teammates is obviously throwing, it's a different story, but I can just tell you 99% of the time your teammates are actually trying their best. And if they simply aren't good enough with how they are playing at their full potential, there's simply nothing you can do but to focus on your own performance in the games that you are playing. Because the truth is, if all you do in your games is focusing on your own gameplay, you will improve, no matter what. So when you're playing a match the next time you play competitive and you lose, don't waste your time watching your teammates in replay analyzing their mistakes, because this won't affect you. It might make you feel a bit better, yeah, because you have someone to put the blame on, but in the long term it will only hurt you and your way to a higher rank, because you most certainly won't improve by telling others how much they suck. Now, this obviously only applies for when you are playing in ladder with random teammates. If you're playing scrims in an esports team, for example, it is a completely different story, of course. It is good to point out the mistakes of your teammates to improve as a whole, but in general, people in the normal competitive mode don't really give a shit about what others say, because everyone thinks they themselves are right. So not only you won't benefit from flaming others, but they won't as well. It's completely pointless and won't get you out of the rank you're currently stuck in. The second point I want to address today is tilt. Tilt, in my opinion, is one of the biggest threats that can throw you off on your way to a higher rank. It is very powerful, trust me. When you lose multiple matches in a row, you get tilted, that's just how it is. Except if you're like some meditation god that can keep his temper even after losing hundreds of games, but that's pretty unusual for the average Overwatch player. Not only losing games, but also things like getting killed over and over again, or even better, getting killed by non-skill abilities can get you tilted. And that's what's so scary about it. Because if you get tilted, you get into an inescapable vicious circle. Not only do you play much worse when you are tilted, it also gets worse and worse and worse the longer you keep going. When I lose multiple games in a row, I start telling myself, I swear to God, I will not stop playing until I get up from where I fell in my skill rating. And that is a huge problem, since all it does is make you lose even more, and in the worst case, you get to the part where you just smash everything. Your mouse movements become more shaky and less consistent, you play more aggressively even though you shouldn't, etc, etc. In my experience, if you get really tilted, you also get more bloodthirsty. You will go for plays you normally wouldn't go for when you are playing not tilted, and that's what will cause even more losses and even more rage. So what can you do against it? Well, I know most of people will say, yeah, just take a break and go try again when you're not tilted anymore. While that obviously is one solution, I don't think it fully fixes the issue. Because the next time you come back and start playing again, the exact same can happen again. Instead, you need to start viewing competitive games differently. Every game is a new start, a new opportunity, a new chance of proving your skill, and that's something that a lot of people, including myself, still need to learn. Because by doing that, you will always play at your maximum performance, no matter what happened or how shit the previous games were. The next game is now. Treat it as such. I know that this isn't easy, because losing SR is definitely the opposite of fun, but it will definitely make you gain more SR in the future if you start having a mindset like this. Speaking of SR brings me to my next point, which is SR shouldn't actually be your main priority. Now I know what you might be thinking. This is a guide about how to climb in Overwatch, and now you're telling us that SR doesn't matter? And yes, that is exactly what I'm going to tell you. You need to stop giving a shit about what number it says in your career profile. I think if you learn the skill of doing that, you are on your best way of climbing in Overwatch. Because the reality is, that number does not actually determine how skilled you are if you keep looking at it. I mean, of course people at a higher rank are most of the time better than the people from a lower rank, but that doesn't mean that my point doesn't still stand. Because if you stop constantly giving a shit about your SR, you will have more time focusing on the actual important things, which is your own gameplay. I can't stress this enough. SR is one thing, but actually improving is the thing you need to be focusing on. Because if you improve as a player, your skill rating will improve automatically as well. That's just how it is. If you're a plat player and you're whining about not being able to climb, you're simply not good enough at the moment. So stop looking at that stupid number and focus on actually becoming good at the game. Watch your own gameplay, analyze your mistakes, stop making them, work on your mechanics, grind till you see improvement. Now, the fourth and final point I want to talk about in this video is to have fun while playing. I know this is also being said a lot of times, but I think I actually put way more value on it than others because it is so important. So many people have started to play this game simply because they want to get to a higher rank, and I think they have forgotten the most important aspect of video games, which is to actually have fun while playing. Like, that's what they are for. This is your free time. Why force yourself to do something you're not actually enjoying? I know that it's called competitive and there should be no fun allowed, but that's just not true. It's a video game after all. Its design is to make people have fun. Try laughing about the little things that happen in your games instead of getting mad over them. Hell, if you think teabagging your teammate instead of shooting the enemy team is fun, then just do it. There's a good chance your teammate will find it funny as well. Not only will you tilt less and have a better overall experience, you might also affect your teammates with it by spreading it. Alright, that's all the advice I have for today. If you apply all or at least some of these things to your game, I promise you 100% you will see improvement and you will end up climbing higher in the ranked leaderboard. Of course, there's many other factors that play into this, like the heroes you play, what role you play, etc. But this is a topic for another video. The tips I just shared with you apply to any rank, any role, and even any game that you are playing. It doesn't even necessarily have to be Overwatch. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, a like and subscription would be very much appreciated. I will be doing more educational content in the future, so stay tuned for that. If you want to come watch me play live, check out my Twitch, link in the description down below. Also, if you want to stay connected with me and the community, make sure to join the Discord, link also down below. And that's it from me guys, thank you so much for watching, peace out.